space where he's logging in from. So he's here. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get rolling. So good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for our first of 2 behind the scenes virtual events. I'm excited about this one. I think this one is a lot of fun. I think you're going to have fun with our food and beverage folks that I'm going to introduce to you, and I'm going to just kind of let them take over. Just so you know, everyone's muted. We like to try, if possible, to wait until the end to ask questions, unless it's really something burning. So we'll see how things roll along here. So
hopefully it's not something burning in the kitchen.
Well, right. I sure hope not. And I'm just waiting for let's see here. There we go. So we have Kristin Matheson, who's our Director of Food and Beverage, with us this morning. And we also have Aaron Pouliot, who is our Executive Chef. And they are very passionate about the food and beverage here at Hillside. And so I'm just going to let them take over. And those of us in marketing may or may not interject, but it's really their show to let you know where we're at with food and beverage here at Hillside. So the floor is yours, Kristin and Aaron. And I can't hear them.
Maybe they're still muted.
Do I need to unmute them? Let me see.
I got it. Got it.
There we go. And the family Von Trapp.
Unmute. Okay, don't touch anything. I think I'm
not touching anything.
Okay. All right, got it. So I'm Kristin Matheson, and this is Aaron.
Hi, how are you?
As Tracy introduced us already. So we come to Hillside Village kind of as a team. We've worked together at Keene State College for 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
So we've been together about 8 years now. This was a startup for us. So we started at nothing and have grown quite a nice program here with a 5-star dining restaurant, a tavern with a full liquor license, which is a first for a CCRC in New Hampshire. And we also have a bistro, kind of a coffee shop type area with sandwiches and breakfast items, and then a soon to be 80-bed health care center that we're serving 23 folks right now. So that's kind of us real quick. Like
we both combined probably have close to 50 years of experience in food service combined. We've both been in the business for a very long time. The job came along and very refreshing for both of us to step away from the corporate world, so to speak, and be able to have something of our own and grow what we have. The slide that you're looking at now, where we began, Kristin just kind of gave the brief overview of what we have here. And we wanted to just take you through how it kind of started. Conceptually, I think the whole place is 8 years or something like that to get it even to where it is now. And we came in, Kristin was hired in November, I think it was December of 2018. And I was hired in February, March of 2019. She could have started 6 months before that. I could have started 6 months before I did, and we could have had a little bit better handle on things. So when we came into the building, it was at the end of March, beginning of April, and we were looking to open up by mid-April. People were moving in, marketing was slammed with people who had put in deposits and signed up, and it was gonna be fast and furious. So we were taking all of the stations conceptually, trying to build them, trying to build some sort of a setup for that. and we changed equipment, we moved things around, we changed flows. It was intense, not including, including writing menus, writing procedures, knowing that healthcare could open at any time. In fact, when we moved in here, the healthcare building was more finished than this building, but we didn't have the clientele for over there at the moment. So it was fast and furious, about a month and a half of absolute crazy once we could get our heads around it. With our dining room manager at the time and our healthcare manager at the time, it was intense. So we adjusted a bunch of schedules, we adjusted stations, we built everything from scratch from everything that we know. And our first meal was on 4/17/2019. That's like our year anniversary of our second marriage. And the opening of the alternative stations came about a month after each.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
How do we change? There we go.
There we
So
go.
Yeah.
basic kitchen setup. This is basically our back kitchen. Just the behind the scenes part of this. There's not a lot of people who've seen this because we don't do tours through the kitchen per se right now. It's something that's in the future where we're hoping it can be, because so many people ask, how does it happen? Where does it happen? And the size of the kitchen's small for the operation that we have, and we've really made it quite efficient. So you can see this is like the back line here. Sinks, prep, you got the tilt skillet, you got a steam kettle, that's a 40-gallon steam kettle. You got the ovens, you got prep tables, of course, all the equipment hanging. Just to toot our horn a little bit, we have a very good relationship with our Board of Health here. And Rob has really been very happy with what we've done. He's also said how clean the kitchen is. Our pest inspection gentleman has said the same thing. All the people who come in to work on equipment say it's an extremely clean kitchen. That is a huge thing to have. Yes, it's new, but if we do what we do, it'll stay new. Here's the front line. You can see Salamander in the back. Here's a couple of the, Dan, myself, and Nicole, first dinner going out. It was intense. It was definitely different. But that's my sous chef and my first cook right there. So.
And I think we.
I want to interject something very quickly. Some of
Yes.
these pictures are pre-COVID-19. That's why you will see them
Correct.
without masks on.
Correct.
Yep.
And I think that our very first meal was right around 30
to 36
30,
people, something
35
like that.
people. And with Aaron cooking on the line, I was waiting on the tables. It was just kind of, that's what needed to work there in the beginning. And now we're doing right around 130 meals a night. And that's not including what we're doing at lunch and breakfast, but we do about 130 dinners a night right now.
Quick menu we'll put together on the left side, which you can't see in that picture, but there's a left side of the menu, there's a right side of the menu. The left side of the menu stays the same all week long. There's always a special salad of some sorts. This week's is a mixed berry with mixed greens, goat cheese, and a raspberry walnut vinaigrette, all completely homemade composed salad. And then there's also regular garden salads that are every single day. We have a soup that changes daily. And then we have a special chicken and a special salmon every single week. That stays for the week. The right side of the menu changes every single night. So in this example, you can see it's the lollipop lamb chops, the clam rolls, Mexican polenta, and then the dessert changes and the sides change every single night. So the variety piece is always there. We've built a 4-week menu. That 4-week menu changes every, I would say probably 3 to 4 times a year it'll change. So we get about 2 full cycles through it, 3 full cycles, and then it will change. And that includes the chickens and the salmons will change. So you get a lot of option, definitely a lot of options.
And just the pattern will go kind of like you're seeing right now, which is a meat entree every night, a seafood entree every night, and a vegan option. There were little icons out to the right-hand side that will tell you what options are gluten-free and what options are vegan. So in this case, the Mexican polenta, you can't see it, but I'll just tell you that has a little heart for vegan, and then it has the gluten-free icon next to it as well. So you can make choices based off that. So, okay.
That's our dining room, what it used to look like. The dining room itself hasn't been set up just because of COVID. And we're gonna get into that a little further down the presentation so we can explain what we've done and the changes we've made to accommodate the pandemic.
It's a gorgeous space that has has a
Chairlifts.
beautiful view of Mount Monadnock when you're over to the left-hand side of the dining room, and then the balcony on this fourth floor overlooks the dining room, so you can kind of peek in on people from above.
These are the original 30.
Yep.
Some of them.
Yeah.
And you can see, okay, so.
Sorry, you can tell me if I'm going too fast.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Thrive Bistro. A month after we opened, I think we opened this. This is our little pantry type nook. Right now it's also doubling as a grocery store, but there's a lot of local focus in here: sandwiches, soups, fresh pastries every day, coffee. Of course, pre-COVID, you could sit around and enjoy yourselves and have a little coffee with friends, get up and read the paper, go into the library. It's a little different now. Some of the local things you can see there, it's very country store-ish. And at the bottom middle, Marlene is the woman who runs our Thrive. She's up there every day, 5 days a week. She's a great woman. We worked with her at Keene State, very nice. But it's got some favorites and some local stuff there. So it's a nice little setup.
Fresh pastries every day are up there, and she's happy to make a egg sandwich and brew.
Turkey and cheddar on multigrain. Best sandwich
Yep,
in
there
the
you go.
world, right there. Made by
Favorite,
Marlene.
And this slide shows some of our local, Black River is one of our local vendors. We use Prime Roast Coffee. We get the Grafton cheeses. So, and I think that there might be another slide just kind of highlighting our local options.
All of these are close to home, and we can talk and argue, local, but we figure within a 40-mile radius, 50-mile radius is pretty good for a local, and Black River does that really well for us. Castleton Crackers, of course, Cabot, Stewart and John's. We try to do as much as we can local with a price point that makes sense, and I think everybody understands that and recognizes that. But we do support the local vendor as much as we can. Some of the products are great. The Jasper Hill Farm cheeses are amazing. The Maplebrook Farm cheeses are amazing. We did the Stonewood turkeys for Thanksgiving this past year, which was an amazing event. It really went well. We did it all family style. It worked out really well. We had a bunch of fun cocktails and homemade pies, and it was just an awesome event for people who didn't want to leave or necessarily didn't have family close by. It worked out really well. I think it was 55 people for Thanksgiving this year. So it was nice.
And when we did family style, it was family style. There were folks that brought their families here for dinner, but also there were folks that all ate together. We had one table of 12 people that were all residents here, and they all sat together. We put them right in the middle of the dining room, and like Aaron said, everything was family style, so things were passed around. It was really, really nice. It was a nice change from, some of how we kind of do things. Tableside service, like a regular restaurant. So
the tavern opened up the last week in June 2019. It has been completely revamped. We don't even have to talk about the old one, because the old one, equipment wise and the setup for it, it just wasn't inviting. So we made some changes to that. But full liquor license, as Kristin said before, beautiful drinks, everything. And you can see the table setup is nice. You can sit about 24 to 28 in there, right?
probably a little more now because we
have the
added some
bench.
bench seating. No one's seen that yet, but kind of in the background where those wingback chairs are, there's a whole bench seating now, which people really like in the main dining room. So that adds a few more seats. So.
But it's a nice environment. We got rid of some of the equipment that was loud and things of that nature, and it's definitely more inviting. We have little concerts in there. People will come, guitars, some singers, things like that. There's music. There's always the TV on with sports if we wanted.
I've done some trivia here and there.
And the evolution of what that's going to end up being is, for us to get to the point where we're having Patriot games in there, or football games. I don't want to, if anybody's not a Patriots fan, but to have some games in there and to have something that goes along with that, so that, there's a little program as well. But it's a nice space. I like the tavern a lot, space-wise. So.
Oops, sorry, it's a little slow.
All right,
No
take your time.
worries. Oh, health center. So right now, like I said, we're at 23 residents in our health center between memory care and assisted living. The pictures are when people were able to do communal dining, which was nice. So they are dining, but they're staying within their floor right now in the country kitchens, which is super charming. The menu mimics our menu here. We have a main entree. We do our main meal at noon, main entree, and then an alternative. So the main entree mimics what the entrees are here in independent living.
The evening time is more of the lighter fare for that. So it's more of the grilled sandwiches or the salad type idea. And during the day, we'll do, for example, today they had beef bourguignon short ribs today. So that's their main lunch today with wild rice and asparagus. So tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it's a seared salmon. All of our fish is fresh as well. But that's kind of what we try to do, is we try to mimic at least the main meal at lunch. But of course, it's actually double the menu and it includes breakfast. So there are some things that are a little different over there at the evening time. But pretty much everything that you can get here, you can get over there within reason. It's also 7 days a week. Over here when we were running brunch, our menu here was different than over there, but it has to be by design. Oh, the fun slide. Where we are pre-COVID. Quick outline of that is special events, the evolution of staff, growth in stations, equipment changes, menu upgrades, special catering and outside events, private dining room, and the start of the liaison committee. As we go through this, we're just going to kind of talk through what we were doing. But the special events slide is huge. And I think Judy has said so many great things about what we've done and how people have reacted to this and what some of the other communities might not necessarily bring that we do with some of the talents that we bring and our team brings. That's Griffin off to the left, as you can see. That was a awesome saute setup for, that was Christmas. That was our holiday party. It wasn't Christmas. It was it was the holiday party, because Christmas we did on actual Christmas Day. But that was a saute station with tortellini, and it was absolutely build your own saute. It went over amazing. People loved it. And then we had a wine tasting as the middle slide. And I'm sorry, but I cannot remember those folks for the life of me, because I haven't seen them forever.
Yeah, that's okay. So we had just a small wine tasting. Folks signed up ahead of time, and there was a friend of one of our residents who is a wine expert. So we sent over the wine list. He picked out the ones that he wanted to feature, and it came along with a little art show at the same time. So you see that there's some print material there and water to cleanse the palate and all of that. It was a really nice event. I think there was 15 people that we were able to have sign up ahead of time for that. And then, the Zimmermans were there. They were dressed up in that was the 50s. They were trying to dress up as they're in their 50s for the Valentine's kind of event, which was really fun.
There were too many good pictures. I couldn't get them all. I'm sorry. Too many good things.
So those were the cocktails on Thanksgiving Day.
And you can see the family style in the background of folks eating. Which is kind of great. And then of course the dinner table. That's a normal dinner picture, I think. So that's kind of how it looks up above. We have the one round table in the dining room where a lot of single folks will eat with other single folks or whatnot, or with a couple, or it really works out well. Everybody's so inclusive here.
And this one's actually fun. 3 couples. So so it always, it just depends. And just a little bit about seating in the dining room. We have 86 seats in the dining room and a lot more residents than that. So we really are very strategic how we seat folks, and everyone, and I'm saying like every single resident here wants company. They don't, sometimes people will make appointments to have dinner with each other, especially if they're on the garden committee or something like that, and they want to kind of talk during dinner. Other than that, everyone says, I'd like to come at, 5:45, and we're open to
want
seat with
company.
whoever. So, so we try our best to mix and match people all the time so that you're sitting with new faces and meeting new people.
And the picture on the right is Megan, our healthcare manager. She was over here helping with an event. Oh, the girls. So here's some of our team. The picture on the top left is pretty much the original five. We have lost one of them. She moved on because of sports and things like that. But all four of those girls, minus Riley, they were all here this summer with us, and this is going on their second year. Camille, Caitlin, and Leanne are next to me on, that was Mother's Day. We were wrapping chocolate dipped strawberries. We did individual coffee cakes for everybody and sent them out to the rooms because that is now COVID. So everything was packaged and brought to them, knock on the door, and we gave it to them. They were so happy with it. 4th of July is Caitlin and Leanne and Camille again. You go down below, you have Will and Kevin. You got just the whole team. It's really nice. And then the M&Ms, as you see on the stairs, that was Halloween. So you can see the different colors on all of them. And
our dining room staff, the majority, well, all of them, they're either in high school or early in college. And a lot of them, it's their very, very first job. And I often will tell residents, I usually will train to a certain point, and then I tell the residents that it's now their job to finish training. and it's fun because it's such a mutual connection. These employees care deeply for all of our residents. It's really nice, and they're learning a lot about how to speak to people without having phones, how to not say things like and you know what I mean? They're working on a lot of skills.
Engaging.
So this is a great thing for them. It's a wonderful first job. I foresee a lot of these, I call them kids because that's what they are, here for many years, and we're really flexible with their schedules, and yep, they're wonderful. And they're wearing little bee headbands because they started being called the busy bees. So because they're buzzing all over this building, delivering things to all the residents. So.
oh.
More of our staff.
So Phil is on the left. He's one of my line cooks. He works in the tavern. Just learned a new pizza program, which we'll go over in a second. Carving that's either Christmas or one of the events that we did. It could be, I don't know, it could be a grand opening. Jim is on the bottom there holding the free hamburger sign. That's when we were actually doing the holiday, the Valentine's Day, which was a 50s theme, kind of like drive-in. We did a lot of that sock hop type food. It was awesome. Everybody loved it. It was so much fun. There was dancing and music and pies. It was great. Nicole's working the kettle there. She's my first cook. And then Griffin, again, he's over on the other picture. He's doing tapas from Spain. I learned some of these from a Spanish chef, the white anchovy and tomato on bread. We also have of course, the caprese, very basic, but it was gorgeous. And that was that was our grand opening, I think, if I recall.
I think so.
That was a great event. It worked out really, really well. Beautiful setup. It was fun. It was a fun one.
And some of the, like Phil and Griffin are, they come with a teensy weensy amount of experience, and they've been developed into being really wonderful additions to the team and are learning tons. So that's really nice.
Hard workers will work every day as long as they can. They're great. They're good kids.
Yep.
So there's some food.
Yep.
It's pretty, so I put it in there.
What's really amazing is this is no BS. This is what the plates look like when they come to you, depending on what we're serving at any given night. The pan-seared pork chop with the potato wedges and the carrots. That's a cranberry chutney that you see down on the bottom right of that plate on the top left. The menu in the tavern has changed, but that was poutine right below the pork chop. Up on the center top, that was a quinoa salad, and we did a sweet potato composed salad with it. Had black beans in it, the jalapenos. It was kind of like one of those cool and hot salads at the same time. The sweet potato with the quinoa and the jalapeno. We sold a bunch of those. That was a brunch dish. As I said to the marketing ladies, this is my favorite picture. Is the bottom center is it's the cleanest plate I think I have, and it's just a gorgeous lamb chop with the potato wedges and a little micro cilantro on top. That's the stuffed chicken on the top with the asparagus and micro sorrel. That's got a beautiful little glaze over it, just a chicken velouté glaze. It came out absolutely phenomenal. I think we probably did 40 of those when we did it. And then the most popular tavern thing that we do is the fried shrimp on the bottom right, a little sriracha on that, and a little bit of microgreens. Just absolutely delicious food. It's beautiful stuff. Really nice when you see it all colorful like that.
I know.
Cheese platters, multiple roasted vegetable platters, and mixed olives, cipollini onions, and some of the tapas. And this is what our events look like. These are the things we put out for everybody to enjoy. It really, the Chamber of Commerce event was absolutely phenomenal in here. It really, really hit home run with the town for people to come outside and come in here. Not only do we have a lot of folks from the town that are here, but people who work in the businesses came here and could actually see what we do. Gorgeous cookie display. All those cookies are homemade. It was absolutely phenomenal. My sous chef is also a baker, and we did cookies for days and just gave them to people and gave them out and had multiple events, and the lights and the stage. This is in the Media Arts Center. It's just absolutely gorgeous event. It was huge. It really was.
This also, the chamber event that we had here generated business for us, which we weren't sure, but we brought it to the residents, and they're all for generating some revenue. So we were able to book out the space. Of course, now it's been canceled because of COVID, or it's really on hold. It was supposed to be in June, and then we pushed it out to September, and now it's just going to be on hold until we can open back up. But it was it 200 people or 100? Now I can't remember. I think it's around 100 person event that was generated from a guest, a business that was here in town, and they're going to hold an event here. So, and we've had a lot of those inquiries.
And I'm just going to chime in too, because I've had many of the residents tell us that this is the best new restaurant in Keene.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, no question. Many comments.
Private dining room. It seats 12. I think we've put 14 in there with children, grandchildren sitting on like the end on a small table. But we mirror the menu downstairs, and you can have a private dining room experience. We did a couple different ones. We've done specialty menus. There are added costs to some of those specialty menus depending on what it is, or you can just have your family up in that room and you can get what's off the menu in the Birches that night without a problem, including dessert and whatnot. When we do these, we've already have things booked for Christmas Eve this year. So there's going to be, we were at the point when pre-COVID that we were doing something up in that room probably every other week, and we'd probably have something. Maybe it's one dinner. We had a bridal shower that was going to go up there.
Birthday party is.
Yep. It's just a nice little space where it can be a little more private, and you still get the service and the folks. It's a great little room. Right now it's being used as a storeroom for all of the groceries we have for people, so that they don't have to go out. But it's a fun space. We've also meetings in there and things. Yeah. Ugh. So really disgust with it during COVID. Going down the list, I mean, we don't have a lot of slides for this, I don't think, Tracy, do we? I don't.
Not a lot, no.
Okay.
So do you want me to just scroll through?
Yeah.
A little bit. I that outline might be nice to have so we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
So we we switched from having our dining room open to, at first we were doing pickup. And then when things became a little bit more strict, we went to all delivery. So within a day, we were able to take exactly the same menu. So we didn't have to shrink it. A lot of facilities have gone down to 1 or 2 options on their menu. We kept our menu the same. You know, there's a pattern to how residents call in. They call in at a certain time based on what wing they live in, just so that the phones don't all ring at the same exact time. And the people will, you know, our staff will take those orders and then they will tell you what time it's going to come, which rotates. And we've been told that if somebody says that their meal is going to come between 6 and 6:15, that's usually there by 6:03. So it's kind of like clockwork now. I was able to get all of these baskets that kind of look like Target baskets a little bit, but and we were ahead of the game on eco-friendly to-go containers because we had a stock of them, and we were able to get in ahead of everybody else on the planet ordering them. So we have plenty now. But the baskets get delivered to everyone's room at the time that we tell them it's going to come. And then the very next morning, somebody comes around and all of the baskets and all of the containers disappear from in front of their doorway, and we do the process all over again. And that is out of the Birch's dining room. So that's our main dinner meal. We still have the option to call Thrive for breakfast or for lunch items. They also call Thrive for groceries, and we have quite a list of groceries. And the tavern menu is still available for lunch deliveries. So that's, you know, it makes, by the end of the day, you probably have about 30 options or more of things that you could have. There's still the 6 main entrees at dinner time. And Aaron recently has done some menu adjustments into more of the seasonal vegetables and newer salads and some nice fish too. We added swordfish recently, which was different.
So we touched on it for a half a second, and it's something that's really kind of important, and it's definitely a testament to being engaged and doing what we do here. We didn't miss a beat with the menu. We didn't shrink down to baked ziti with sausage, or you're getting chicken marsala tonight. You're getting the same menu that you got in the Birch's, plated, portioned, and sent. The people here, the folks, have been so supportive of the whole thing that we've done, because we haven't missed a beat, and we haven't altered things so drastically much that they've lost anything, I guess is the way to look at it. In fact, we've enhanced program, as you're seeing right here, with the introduction of the pizza ovens in the tavern. So it's just something that we worked on, purchasing smart, understanding food cost, plate cost, equipment purchases. How much money are you going to spend on disposable and paper or styrofoam or whatever you want, or compostable? We were all ahead of that. And just being ahead of that was so much smarter than so many places around. And I think that also comes from, having, a solid facilities manager that can get to us about COVID and is on the calls, and our nurse navigator and whatever, just to be able to connect with us about what they're hearing about what's going on with the disease, to get back to us so we can be in front of it, because we can all say we see it in the news or whatnot, but to have some of those resources that are helpful to everybody on the team, it's important. So these are the pizza ovens. We'll go to that. Huge change. That was a big change for the tavern. The tavern had an odor issue with the fryolator and the flat tops. So we decided to do something that smells awesome. And the new pizza ovens arrived when? End of April, maybe. I think it was end of April. And the program that we're running now generates close to about, I'd say 15 pizzas on average a night. You can get 14 inches, or you can get 8 inches. So if you wanted 2 separate small ones or 1 big one, you get soup, you get salad, you get pizza, and you get dessert. And it all comes as a meal, swipe, meal credit. You can also buy pizzas if you are having family over. For some reason, you wanted to buy 4 pizzas, put the order in, we'll make them. Those are stone deck pizza ovens. So they're cooked right on the stone. They're absolutely phenomenal. Homemade dough, homemade crust, all the ingredients that you could want. Eventually, this program will roll into flatbreads and salads, the possibility of sandwiches. What it really does for us, the building smells absolutely phenomenal. We do fresh breads in there. We do artisan breads in there. We bake cookies in there at times, but it also is very inviting. The noise isn't there from the hood system being so loud, and you don't have the off smell of that fryer that we could just not get rid of.
Mhm.
So it's a huge addition, and it's been very well received.
It should be moving any second now.
Sorry,
Sorry,
you're fine.
there we go.
I think we could probably.
You
we
want to
sort
skip this one?
Yeah, we've talked
Spaces
about
already.
Thrive,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the next one kind of shows.
there we go.
pizza again.
Yeah.
So absolutely, you can see it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, all fresh ingredients, absolutely delicious. We tried 2 or 3 different pizza crusts that we made. Little differences, little salt, little more sugar in this one, little of that, little of this, and the one we settled on is phenomenal. And then you see all the fresh ingredients, but we also made 2 or 3 different sauce recipes, had a bunch of people try it. Cheese blends, had a bunch of people try it to try to get some sort of buzz about what it was, but they're delicious. They really, we've had a home run with this. Well, it seems like we hit a home run with a lot of stuff, but this one's, this is from concept to this, it was great. It was absolutely great.
And they sit right on the stones, the
Yep.
pizzas do. So they're super nice and fluffy on the top, and then that bottom just has that nice crisp to it with no oil or any of, it's just real natural rustic pizza.
Currently, this is available 3 days a week. When we can open back up, it'll be available probably 5 to 6. I'm not entirely sure. We just have to look at staffing. We haven't been hit too badly with staffing, but we also haven't hired some positions just for the simple fact that we don't need them. And that's one of, we can't just hire people to not be here. So when we open back up, we need to do some staffing, but yeah, it's great.
Oh, so this is, so the residents are growing straw bale gardens. And so in the center there, you see the cucumber plants are there. The big picture in the back is the romaine lettuce that was cut and was added to the salad. It wasn't tons of, but it was enough to add to the salads that night. And Aaron's out there looking at the vegetables. So, and we had some cucumbers come to us yesterday from this garden. So, so that's kind of fun. That's only going to get bigger as time goes on, because this is, first swing at it.
So this is where we started, and eventually it'll grow. And we also have to focus a little bit on what we can use. And we've killed their basil plants like 3 or 4 times. Like we really cut those up, but the romaine was gone in one whack. But for the most part, I mean, the greens are always growing easy and stuff like that. Tomatoes, you get 2 or 3 a day, 4 or 5 a day. It's not enough to make any substantial impact, but we're going to work with them on that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some of the fresh breads, some of the awesome stuff we did. That's sourdough that Dan made the other day. Absolutely phenomenal. How many places do you know are making homemade brown bread? Well, we did it, and it came out awesome
It was so
in the
good.
can and everything. So we have a lot of talent here. Lobster rolls on the top left. Liz, who actually just went off to college, she has a little mask on. She was doing cards that we were putting in the baskets for folks.
Mm-hmm.
Something to just break up what is the everyday mundane, because a lot of residents are starting to get stir crazy, and I think anybody could agree with that. So we have to keep them engaged in different ways. We're working on right now trying to get a traveling bar to go around and do different things. It might be ice cream sundaes. It might be chocolate shots with different liqueurs in them, just to do something to break things up. We're looking at possibly doing crepes, doing margaritas down by the pool, just something to break things up that we can keep people still separate while we go through this pandemic. But we're working on all that stuff, and that stuff should probably be rolled out in a month or so.
Oh, this was Mother's Day. So
Oh yeah, coffee cakes.
every apartment got their own coffee cake, and we bought tulips and chocolate covered strawberries. And then our little busy bees and myself went around and delivered to everyone, but nobody knew it was coming. So we were just there in the morning around 10 in the morning. The coffee cakes were warm right out of the oven. And it was it's a standout day, I think, for us, because we felt really good about doing it. It was really the first time that we had seen a lot of residents, because I wish that I could remember dates like you do, but when was Mother's Day? The end of April or the beginning of May? Well,
second week in May, I think it was. Yeah.
It was really the first time that anyone had gone and like been able to knock on people's doors since we were all sort of kind of closed in. So it was really special for everybody.
Father's Day, we did something similar. We did little gift bags with cheese, crackers, little chocolate lint balls, and all the cheese and the crackers were local. A couple apples, the lint balls, of course, everybody loves those little chocolate lint balls. We also did Side Hill Farm jams. So they had individual small jams. So it was a nice little, like,
oh yeah, this was the bag over to the right-hand side.
Yeah, you can kind of see it. Yeah.
Was the Father's Day bag. It kind of mimicked a cheese board was what it was. It was all the ingredients for a cheese board. So
everybody in the apartment could enjoy it, but at the same time, it was a little more specific to a Father's Day and then a Mother's Day. It was just nice. Both of them were great.
So I think we're learning as we go. We're still, we're in phase 1, but I believe we're kind of into some parts of phase 2, which doesn't affect any dining as far as communal dining. Our residents people are starting to think about bringing their meal basket outdoors and eating outdoors with friends at a distance, or to have people over to their balcony, maybe one person or a couple over to their balcony, as long as they can stay, semi distanced. So we don't know what opening will look like for us yet, because we're waiting for the direction from our director and also the state. So
Growth of program just comes with everything that we kind of talked about, and just honing in everything that we do and making it bigger and better. Some of that program partners with activities. It'll partner with stations in the building as well. Like I said, margaritas down by the pool, different things, different catering events when we have a band playing that we're going to do food and stuff like that. And that's stuff that we were starting to get into, but it never really blew up. Most of the programming that we did was mostly things that we did for all of the holidays, the top 7 holidays and all of that, and what we could rotate in. We've done stuff for New Year's, for Valentine's Day, for St. Patty's Day, for Easter. You just go through the list, and we've done something for all of that. Halloween, all of them. The growth of special events happens with what we have for programming here, as in activities programming, and then what we can do with it, but also us making our other ones bigger and better and different, and bringing back, of course, classic favorites. And the more staff we bring in and the busier we are and the more residents we have, the bigger everything gets. Pre-consumer composting is starting September 1 is my goal. If the containers come, all that compost would be pre-consumer vegan, and we will be using it into our gardens and into our own soil and things of that nature. Growing food options in the future. I understand these things called freight farms. At one of the previous places that I worked, we had one. They're a completely hydroponic unit that I'm looking to get a grant for, and to start looking into possibly getting one here. We'd probably be the first place in New England to even have one. Resident run, so that some of our food would end up being here, as in all of our greens, all of our herbs or whatnot. So if you have anything to do later on this afternoon, look up freight farms, and they're kind of cool. Tip of the iceberg, no pun intended, as in lettuce. Truthfully, this is just the beginning, and we can't say enough about how great the place is to work at, to be at, and to do the things we do. It's so awesome. And our team is just dying to get back to special events and things like that. We just need some things to change, and we'll be hitting the ground running again. I think you can agree with that. It's such a fun place to work. It really is. It's fun people. It's great.
So as I go to the next slide, I'm going to start to unmute everybody so that we can
Okay.
open it up for questions and comments.
Sure.
And I just want to put this up. Hopefully, there we go. And Kristin, I couldn't resist. So
Flipping it.
and I'm just going to, so the notes and the letters, so I called it fan mail. So our residents send notes and letters of appreciation to Food and Beverage, and Kristin and Aaron can talk more about this all the time. And so yesterday, Kristin came into our marketing office and she was down on the floor and she made this big, what she thought was a semicircle. I walked in the room and said, "You made a heart." So, and I think it's just very telling of how people feel and the relationship that the staff has with the residents. You know, there is definitely a mutual admiration and respect. So I had to put it there like that, but you can speak more. And as I was talking, I forgot to unmute everybody, so I'll do that now.
Yeah, no, those are just like, those were the notes. All of these notes I took down from hanging in the kitchen.
Mhm.
So it wasn't even like they were tucked away. They were literally hanging on clipboards and on my window my little window in my office. And so we love getting them. The staff really loves getting them. I hang all of them up so that everyone can read them.
Sorry.
And
they're never directed to, they'll be directed to one person, some like directed at Kristin or myself or us or the team. The servers, everyone gets them directed to each other or the team, or it's not like this one person always gets them. They all get them. It's whoever
really
made it
nice.
took the order that day or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And that's a small amount. We still have some, and we have emails. It's amazing. It's
And
absolutely amazing.
like yesterday, I think, I made probably 4 resident phone calls, and that's maybe about average. Talking with folks, and we had a couple come to the kitchen door with some cucumbers for us. So we had a nice long conversation. And so, there's certainly times when we get maybe concerns, or even just, can we try this recipe, or I haven't seen this in a while, or, we get those comments as well. But these were all of our nice love notes that we get. So it's nice.
So if anyone has any questions, I think I unmuted everyone, and some of you may have muted yourselves back, which is fine. So I can't, if you're talking and we can't hear you, we'll let you know. But if anyone has questions for Kristin or Aaron, or comments.
I have a comment that I'll share with them, and I know that I'm the marketing person, but it's true because I've worked in several other retirement communities in New Hampshire. And this team is the most dynamic team that I've ever worked with. They are always thinking, they're always ready to shift gears. I was amazed how they did not miss a beat when we went from serving meals all day long to all of a sudden we're going to home delivery. Not one single beat was missed. And they just do a fantastic job, and they're a fantastic team, and I'm glad that they're on my team.
Thanks, Judy.
You're welcome.
We work with marketing a lot on a lot of events and things, because we have to help in any way we can, and to make things special is important to us. So many collaboration meetings.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Hi. Oh, look at that background.
All right, good enough. My first question is, how late can you go to the dining room once you can go?
So the dining room was open from 5 to 7. Oh my gosh.
5 to 7:30.
7:30 was the last seating. So
Well, if you could get in, it was 7:30.
Yep. With knowing that eventually we might need to make that a little later or a little earlier. We're not sure, just because of the seating capacity in the main dining room. So
Something we didn't touch on is in the tavern, you can come in without a reservation and still get the Birch's full menu in
That's
the
true,
tavern.
yes.
It makes for a little more relaxed environment.
Mhm.
So if you just were coming in later, something you could. So we had that, sounds funny to say overflow seating, but it's what it was, and it worked out pretty well.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of folks, we had folks go in there just because they struggled to hear in the dining room. It was quieter in the tavern. They
Right.
enjoyed it more.
Yep.
A little more laid back atmosphere. So.
So I have a tavern question. My second question is a tavern question.
Mhm.
And do you serve draft beer in the tavern?
We don't have a draft system right now. It is something that we hope to do down the road.
Correct.
We have a refrigerator system that I think could be converted into a draft system. So I definitely would like to see that, but there isn't draft right now. I will say that our beer menu, I change it all the time. So there's like right now, I have kind of the go-tos, which is because we're doing delivery of beer and wine. I guess I didn't mention that, but we are doing delivery of beer and wine almost at cost. So what I'm getting it for at the liquor store, just so that folks don't need to leave the facility for safety reasons. So, you know, I have the standard Stella, I have Mick Ultra, but right now I added Sam Smith chocolate stout for instance.
Yep.
I have Fat Tire down there. That seems to be really, I know that's kind of it's been around a while, but that one's super popular
The
right now.
all day IPA. We
All-day
were
IPA,
going
really.
through it. Like everybody loved that.
Selling out by the case right
Yeah.
now. So, some pretty good beer. And honestly, we had done a couple of wine tastings. We had a person come in and do a whiskey tasting with us. So we had, I don't know, 4 or 5 residents come down for that.
Again, pre-COVID, that was the plan. We were going to start having wine and cheese and all these things. It just, we haven't got to there yet.
Yep. So draft system is definitely on the list.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm Elliot from Massachusetts.
Hey, Elliot.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have different meal plans / costs? I have a couple of related questions.
Yeah. So there is.
Not every detail, but broadly.
Yeah. There's one meal plan. So what the meal plan is that you have one meal per day. And the majority of people use that meal in the main dining room, the Birch's dining room.
For dinner, yep.
For dinner, but we have different rubrics for what a meal equivalency is if you wanted to use it at lunch for the tavern, if you wanted to use it for breakfast and Thrive. So it's one meal per day. That's what the structure is right now. So when someone comes in, they're getting one meal per day for all the days of the month. If you were to go away for a couple of days, let's say three days, and so you would have, if you're coming in as a single person, you would have 3 extra meals, and those would roll over into the next month. Up to 5 can roll over into the next month. You can use those for guests. You can use them for yourself. You can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a day. You could order 3 dinners for just yourself. So there's flexibility there. And then if you go away for an extended period, 14 days or more, before you leave, you would ask for a meal credit, and you would get the raw food cost credited to your account for the time you're away. So this works out well for folks who are going, say, to Florida for the winter. They're gone for a month or 2 months. They will save a little on that meal credit.
Okay. Related question.
Mm-hmm.
These are all, the main plan is one meal a day and you have options for more. These are all opt-in plans. Can you opt out entirely? I mean, you have, the apartments have kitchens, right?
They do. I'll let Judy or somebody.
Sure, I'll answer that.
Yeah,
So,
because that's contractual stuff.
currently you cannot opt out. One of the reasons behind that is when you're coming to a community like this, there is supposed to be some community. So we feel having communal meals are important for individuals. So, so currently you can't opt out, but you can invite the entire marketing team to have dinner with you, and we would be happy to help you go through your kits every single month.
She's just kidding.
Thank
I
you.
don't think you can really do that.
Thank you.
But it sounds great.
And the other thing I wanted to mention was that the tavern is open until 8 p.m.
Correct.
And it opens at 11.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
So is anybody here from the food committee?
Yes, I think
Was
Carol's
Carol
here.
Greenberg was here.
Does she want to chime in and say anything?
I'm not sure. She's muted, and I think she's muted herself. So Carol, if you can hear us and you want to chime in, we'd love to have your input.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I'd just like to say that I was in the Birches the night it opened, which was the day after I moved into Hillside. And I have had probably close to 450 meals since. Every meal has been excellent. I cannot complain about one thing. Even the meals that are delivered to our door appear hot. I yell thank you when they knock on the door. I always get you're welcome. And it's really been a delight to work with Kristin and Erin.
Thank you.
What is the function of the food committee, Carol?
We're not sure yet.
Okay.
We've had
True.
one meeting, and we will work with Kristin and Erin, and I guess give feedback from the other residents who call us to, I hope not complain, but call us to ask certain questions.
It's interesting how the comments that we get and the issues we have are usually not preferences. It's usually a overall in general, you know, there's an issue with this, or the fish was like this, or something like that. The preference thing has really gone away. And I think the food committee's going to be a great liaison to the other folks, because we all see each other and whatnot, but also it's the brainstorming and the where do we want the program to end up, and everybody brings expertise to that meeting. Knowing food, understanding service, understanding operations, understanding costs, and really being able to just gather all those minds together, and where the program ends up with buying more local or focusing more on locally grown, or even the composting thing. It was something we had talked about in the first food meeting, and we're working on getting there. So I think that's really what it is, and getting that feedback and understanding it's not always the happiness, and it's not always the dismal. It's a real partnership. And I think, Carol, you agree with that, just in everyday conversations.
Absolutely.
Also, too, I think that the committee is going to be a great resource for us when we start going into doing special events again.
Oh, totally.
I think that having some other experience, you know, all across the board, just even how things are set up, helping us to set things up, you know, visions for how we can do things differently. So yeah, it's a good group so far. We've just had the one meeting, but we still talk to all of them all the time.
I'm just going to throw our, sorry, we're coming to the end of our time. So just going to throw our marketing information up here for you. I think most of you have either talked with Judy or I or Joy already. So you know us, you know our names, but you might not know our faces. So there we are. If you want to get in touch with us for more information, if you want to talk about setting up a tour, virtually, of course, right now, we would love to chat with any of you about that. And then, excuse me, and then next week, if you would like to rejoin us at the same time, next Thursday, the 20th, we're going to do this same sort of thing again for our facilities operations behind the scenes. And there's a rumor that there's been some pretty amazing photos taken for this, for the facilities tour. So I'm pretty excited to start putting that together. And so just let us know. You can email us. You can call any of the numbers you have for us. I just put Kim's information up here, and but let us know, or you can RSVP through the website. And if no one has any further questions, I want to just say thanks to Aaron and Kristin for their time and for their passion about our food program here at Hillside Village. It helps make our job a little bit easier. So.
Yeah, food is important to everybody.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming, and we hope to see you back here next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe. Be well.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.